Hello, hi there, and welcome. As you're watching this video, I can assume that either you or a close family friend or relative may be getting married soon. And so I guess I could say, congratulations are in order. A warm welcome from me, Carol Astbury, and I thank you for spending this time with me. I've spent the last 40 years involved in the wedding industry. I was appointed as a marriage celebrant in 1974, actually one of the first celebrants who was appointed in Australia. So you might be asking yourself right now, what is a celebrant? Because celebrants, of course, are not perhaps known in every country by this same name. In your country, for instance, you might call a celebrant an officiate, similar to a registrar, or perhaps a minister of a church or a priest, because we're the people who solemnize marriages. That means we conduct legal marriages. Usually, in the case of a celebrant in Australia, that would be a civil marriage. As you can imagine, over the years, I've spent a lot of time discussing with my couples many details about their hopes and dreams for the future, in the hope of providing them with a personally meaningful and deeply rewarding marriage ceremony. I also, of course, listen to them talk about their plans for marriage and how some of those plans have been made very easily, and other times, of course, they may have experienced some difficulty and become a little bit frustrated because obviously there are just so many choices for people. Look at all the things they have to consider. Expensive items such as where they will be married, the wedding venue, how they're going to get there, the vehicles that they will need to hire perhaps in order to get them to their wedding venue. Just the wedding gown itself is an extremely expensive item and of course takes a lot of time to decide on the perfect gown. And then you have the formal wear for the bridegroom, his bridegrooms, and then of course our beautiful bridesmaids. There are other things, of course, such as even the wedding cake. How many choices of wedding cakes do you think people are confronted with when trying to make a decision? And the cost of those wedding cakes can vary enormously. Then there are all the peripheral things, such as wedding invitations. Are they going to put their wedding invitations on a piece of paper or a pretty card, put them in an envelope and post them? Or are they going to be very modern, as a lot of brides are these days, and decide to do this all online? So there are many, many choices that people have to make, as you can imagine. Now, I've conducted nearly 4,000 marriages over my 40 years. I have to say that's been an enormous pleasure, and I've loved just about every single minute of it. I can't imagine a nicer job than being involved with people at this very special time of their lives. Of course, marriage is considered one of the three most important rites of passage. That is a significant time in a couple's lives when they make this decision to marry each other and spend the rest of their lives together in hopefully a long, happy and rewarding marriage. One of the other things, of course, couples are confronted with having to decide about is whether they're going to have a civil or a religious marriage ceremony. What their families will think about this, how this impacts on their decision as well. What's mum always dreamed of, her daughter walking down the aisle on dad's arm wearing a beautiful long white wedding dress, or whether the couple have decided to escape to somewhere like a beautiful remote beach with their toes buried in the warm sand at the water's edge. In Australia, we have a lot of choices for couples. Their freedom of choice when it comes to time, date, and venue is incredible. I personally have married people on the beach, indeed, halfway up a mountain, in the middle of some sand dunes on a deserted village on the south coast of Australia, way up in the Kimberley, in the beautiful wilderness area, and then around the metropolitan area, of course, in people's private homes, hotels, lovely venues that are set up especially for wedding ceremonies, and some delightful restaurants, particularly in the wine-growing areas of Australia. So there are lots of choices to be made, and wouldn't it be great if there was a website where couples could go to ask questions, to share their ideas, what they've learned, what they'd like to know about, ask questions on a forum that is dedicated to their wedding plans? Well, that's what I'm about to set up, is a website which is going to be called Wedding Plans Guide. And it is a membership site, so it means that people will be able to join the site and they'll be able to access a forum where they'll be able to ask questions and share their knowledge and feedback on perhaps things they've experienced. So I think it will be a very valuable website, and look out for it, and perhaps we'll see you on there shortly. So, as I say, my name is Carol Astbury, and it's been nice chatting to you, and I look forward to chatting to you again soon. Thanks for listening. Happy celebrating.